Okay, listen up. This is First 5, where I ask if games are worth your time, not your money. I played a game for 5 hours, and I'm going to tell you if those were 5 hours well spent. Today, we're discovering the world of the Forgotlings in Forgotton Anne. There are 5 words I've had to say way too often. Technically, it has a story. As in, the story exists, you will, in fact, read words in this game, but it's not really worth talking about. It's not a big surprise that when you go hunting for shorter games, a majority of what you'll find are arcade experiences with the plot thrown in as an afterthought. But this week, we're going to take a look at a game that makes the narrative a front and center priority. So, let's talk about that plot, shall we? Don't worry, I won't spoil any big twists so you can rest easy. Or, so I would say, if Forgotton Anne wasn't a story you already know the end to within the first 5 minutes. It starts by introducing you to a regimented hierarchical society that sends its dregs and deviants to go do essentially slave labor in a factory, and then it immediately opens up with a few plucky rebels sticking it to the authorities with some pyrotechnics. I'll give you a second to guess which side you're ultimately going to end up on and how this all gets resolved. Forgotton Anne isn't exactly going to break any new narrative ground, but its story is competently executed and features a genuinely gripping third act. The real highlight here, however, is its characters. Character design and voice acting in particular are both downright inspired, from the tenacious Chief Inspector Magnum to Resistance leaders Bulb and Fig. Fig is a particular standout that I love just about everything about. The developers also clearly paid a lot of attention to the little details of how each character would logically exist in the world. For example, Officer Magnum walks by ejecting his clip to push himself forward repeatedly. Or you get little one-off gags like this bowling ball and Ming vase that jump from a train, and only the bowling ball shows up later because of course the vase would break jumping from a train and a bowling ball wouldn't. The one character I haven't mentioned yet is the titular Anne, who, despite her extremely ordinary and Ghibli-inspired looks, is actually more commonly known as the Enforcer, the dreaded lieutenant of Master Banku, the merciless executor of his will, a walking legend of the universe, a name inspiring fear and awe in all you meet. However, Anne looks and acts more at home in a rendition of Emma than the role of Darth Vader, which was a bit of tonal whiplash to get over at first. In my playthrough, she just acted like a normal, confused, naive young girl, so it always felt weird that she was treated like the scourge of the universe wherever she went. But hey, you get a glove that can suck out people's souls, or as they call it in this world, distilling. So you can earn that mustache-twirlingly evil reputation if you're feeling it. Or you can play Anne as an actually well-adjusted individual and go against the public's perception of you. The game is particularly interested in which way you decide to go with Anne's character in the form of a series of moral choices that will occasionally tempt you to actually get to soul-sucking. For the most part, though, this culminated in the game checking in periodically to go, "Hey! Did you kill anybody yet? No? Okay, cool." That said, even if the story isn't revolutionary, its characters are more than enough to carry it. The story isn't the only thing to write home about. This game also has some really gorgeous animation and graphic direction. In addition to the character designs I already raved about, every inch of the Forgotlings world is lovingly crafted and visually striking. And the game also has these rare moments where it slips into a more cinematic cutscene mode to briefly highlight a character's expression or critical moment. And when it happens, it's just so seamless and gorgeous. I know we all just got done talking about the entirety of God of War being a single unbroken cut, but can we also take a second to appreciate what Forgotton Anne is doing with its camera work? It's a small touch, but it's just such a nice one that elevates the game's presentation. What's less nice is the gameplay, which is perfectly functional, but not all that compelling. The core mechanic here seems to be stairwalking, and okay, I'm mostly joking there, but seriously, there's a ton of it. Actual gameplay is a mixture of platforming and puzzle solving. Platforming is stiff and rarely involves more than just a single normal jump at a time, and honestly, it's barely even worth bringing up. Puzzles are a little better, but still simple. They're at their most interesting when you combine your flying ability and your ability to essentially alter electrical currents. The way it works is that everything in the world is powered by this resource called anima, including your wings. But you can only hold one charge of anima at any given time, So if you need to power a generator to open a door or redirect power somewhere else, no flying. When puzzles are set to interweave these two abilities so that you, for example, have to open a door, then need to find a way to snatch the anima back before swooping to a high-up perch, the gameplay is at its peak. It's enough to make you knock a few brain cells together, but honestly, not much more. Gameplay isn't really what Forgotton Anne is focused on, and that fact is best illustrated by an eventual new power I won't spoil that Anne gets 2/3 through the game. It does literally nothing to change how the game actually plays, but does a fair bit of work in the narrative as mechanics department by giving your same old abilities fresh narrative context. So with all that, let's get to the verdict. Forgotton Anne's got a nice enough plot, but its true strengths are its world building and its characters, both of which are enough for me to recommend you go get this game. That said, I also feel like Forgotton Anne is a one-and-done affair, and while the game offers a very convenient time travel mechanic for you to go back to specific scenes after you've completed it, I don't really feel compelled to do so. Which, to be clear, that isn't a mark against the game. I'm pretty satisfied with the time I've spent with Forgotton Anne. But when a game's multiple choice ending leaves me going, why is this even a decision, I'm not exactly inspired to go see the alternative. What I did experience, however, was a pretty dang enjoyable, if perhaps conventional, story. And even if Forgotton Anne isn't anything revolutionary, it is still high quality. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this episode of First 5. If you did, like, subscribe, or best of all, share this video around wherever you can. Forgotton Anne by Throughline Games is available for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One. I'll see you all next week.